Real stories with bold creatives.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. My today's guests are super amazing creatives from the agency Hyperfocus. Paul and Jan, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having us. Thanks for the invite.
Good to be here.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. After seeing all your work and all the videos you do on YouTube and everything, it's definitely a pleasure to have you here. Let's start with some simple questions. Paul, what annoys you the most about your friend Jan?
Straight in there.
Straight in there, right?
From a creative process, or you mean his choice?
It can be personal as well.
His choice is cologne, maybe.
Okay.
No. I love how he smells. It always smells great. The new mustache. That's also something.
Oh, okay.
That's a new addition to the family. Doesn't necessarily annoy me. It's a good one. It's a good one.
You're confused.
Okay.
One thing that I wouldn't say annoys me, but one thing that is really great, especially about our relationship, is that we're really different, but we're also very similar as well. And in the creative process, I think it's really important to be able to self-filter. And that takes a long time to be able to do that. And you need to grow a thick skin along the way. And Jan particularly is really good at making me rethink things. So stopping me in my track when I think, okay, I'm on the flow, I'm in the zone, and the work's coming and we're doing good stuff, and we're kind of vibing. He can really help to hit the pause button, and for us to take another look, a step back. And I think that's really, really important, because your own speed and your own vibe is yours. And even if you're running a team as well, it's multiple people all coming together to move towards something. And I think Jan's really good at having this different perspective and this kind of way of making everyone kind of question and stop and refocus. And maybe, we carry on, but it's a really good trait. That could come across as annoying.
Okay.
But
it's more kind of a political answer,
Yeah, I'm turning
something bad and something good.
But something that, in the moment can frustrate you.
Absolutely.
But out of that comes something really, really good.
Okay. And other way around?
The other way around. I think it's quite similar, just in a different level, on a different spectrum. So Paul, he is very impatient, yeah, and he wants to get things out all the time, right? He's a producer, he's a machine, getting things out, be it LinkedIn posts, or also doing design work, or even doing new business kind of stuff, reaching out to people. And I'm more a bit okay, let's wait, let's think about it, let's think this through first and then let's do it. And he just does it. And that's also in the moment, I'm sometimes shit, man, maybe, we should have done it a bit differently. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very good, a character trait, I think.
Okay.
And it helps us as a company a lot as well, and moved us forward into the right direction. So it's the same. It's annoying in the moment for me personally, but at the end of the day, it's a very good thing.
It's a good thing. Okay,
I think it's a cultural thing as well. There's things that come to the back of my head that I've been drilled into me as well. Strike while the iron's hot. There's certain things that, while something's warm, you go for it, make things happen. I have this idea of good is better than great. And that just means if you want to aim for greatness all of the time, you'll never get started, So, and coming also from building a lot of digital brands as well, the whole rhetoric there is to never be satisfied, to test and break, and, really just kind of stress test stuff in the moment. And I think that's why I'm like I am. to a certain extent, but I think it's also like a cultural thing as well, you know, so we just come from very different ideas about things. And I think that's really, really cool, really good, works really well together.
Okay. You guys are based in Hamburg, right?
Yeah.
But are you both German, like right from Hamburg, or what's the background?
I go first. So I'm German, which you probably can hear as well. I was born in Berlin, but yeah, then spent some time somewhere else in Germany, and then like we moved with my family to Hamburg like 25 years ago, something like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So I spent most of the time in Hamburg, and yeah, it's basically my hometown.
Okay. And I'm British, so I'm not German at all by any stretch.
I assumed by the accent, but
imagination. Although some people do say that I've lost my accent. I'm from the north of England. I'm actually born in a city called Bradford, which is quite close to Leeds, and then lived in Manchester for a long time before I actually ended up here in Hamburg.
Oh, that's quite an interesting combination. How did you guys get to work together? Like, how did you start the agency? What was the initial point and the start of it?
That's your story.
Well, I mean, that's not really about how I came to Hamburg. It's more about like, why did we start? I mean, we started it was just was it before the pandemic was announced or just after?
Hyperfocus was.
It was
during in the middle of the pandemic. Yeah.
Best time to start.
Yeah.
Right? When you can't even see anybody. And I just come off the back of doing like a really big like freelance gig as well. I was heading up the innovation team for a special project for Deutsche Bahn, which was really focused on building products and being first to market. And it wasn't necessarily within the constraints of like a big organization, but they knew that they had to challenge their status quo when it came to designing products and design systems. The market was changing, people were demanding more, and I was brought on to develop and lead that team from a design perspective. So I did that for quite some time. And throughout a lot of it, like a lot of the challenges that I was having was that brand wasn't playing as much of a role as it should do. And I believe that within product, brand is really at the heart. It's really the soul. It's the thing that glues the design or the experience together. And I found myself being quite frustrated about that at parts, at certain points of time. But I was managed to be successful in initiating and bringing that and actually being really, really celebrated. But I realized, you know, if you're working at something at such a scale that this is going to be happening like in lots and lots of different teams and lots of different places. And once I'd finished that project, I had this kind of thought that, well, you know, why don't we put brand back in that perspective? The industry is changing. The whole landscape when it comes to the way that you do things. For instance, even the UX industry as well had really taken off. There was all sorts of design methodologies, ways of doing things that were not necessarily happening in the branding space. Branding for me still seemed like a little bit of a dinosaur. It wasn't about design thinking. It wasn't even, you know, talking about, you know, sprints or, you know, bringing the client much closer into the conversation, how we can, you know, make much more focused decisions quickly. And I got together with Jan and we talked about this, and Jan had also faced the same kind of issues, and we realized that there was a gap in the market, that there wasn't really a studio from our understanding that really kind of focused in on like making that transition between brand into an actual digital experience, like in a really seamless way. And Jan was in a position where he was just like transitioning between, he was working at, he'd run a design studio for a very long time. He'd worked for another quite famous agency called Dart as well, and was coming to the end of this. And we kind of, we challenged that status quo there. And we said, well, why don't we do something about it? No one else is doing it that we know in our area. And on top of that, we also wanted to create a culture and a space that we wanted to go to, that we wanted to be a part of. And there wasn't really that cultural fit for us, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we kind of just kicked things off and started without any client, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, it was pandemic. There was no clients. There was no nothing.
Yeah.
But also to give you some bit more background, we also, because I said it's your story, is because we knew each other. We knew each other for like a much longer time. So we met like in mid, like I don't know, 2007 or something. I think.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's when Paul came to Hamburg, and then we got introduced like by a friend to each other. And we actually started working back then as well, because that's when I was I was still in uni, but kind of finishing off, and started my first freelancing work. And I was skateboarding back in the days, and then started working for like this skate brand as a designer, and actually got quite a lot of work, like more than I could handle. And then I asked Paul like if he could help me. And then we actually did that for I don't know, quite some time, right? Designed skateboards, fashion, like this kind of stuff. It was quite fun. I mean, but then like our ways parted into different directions, and then we came back together like, I don't know, 10 years later or something like this.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I thought actually that you met like in 2019-20 for the first time. So
no.
You can't.
I mean, that's a very risky thing to go into business with somebody.
Well, that was on my mind. Like that was quite fast, and especially the pandemic and everything.
I mean, it was a slow builder. I mean, the thing is, like, we both had really great careers. Like, we've like had very prevalent positions and lead positions, and we've got to experience like great cultures through skateboarding. And working in culture-based industries, like I worked like a lot in fashion for streetwear labels and stuff back in the UK. So having all of this behind us kind of all started to kind of make sense. We had the knowledge, we had the skills, we had the contacts, we had the initiative to do something, and it was as if it should have always been. It just happened. It became, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And we always like shared the same circle of friends, and we had like the same love for the same things when it comes to music, design, and all this kind of stuff. So that's why it made sense to do something together for us.
Yeah, that's really cool actually. But the starting point of your careers was quite different. Jan, you straight from university went to freelancing, while Paul, it was completely different, right?
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, how I kind of started.
Yeah.
So from uni, I studied. Actually, I studied fine art and graphic design, and also photography as well. So these were like three disciplines that I really loved. And I can see them still playing a role today in the things that I did back then. But I started a design studio when I was at uni, because I was DJing a lot as well, and a lot of people were asking me if I could design flyers and posters and album covers and all this kind of stuff, like you get asked. And just for the sheer love of it, I knew I wasn't going to get rich from doing it. I was able to flex my creative muscle back then, so I started my first design studio with like a group of like writers and musicians and artists and designers. So it was more of a collective, and we kind of serviced the industry for quite some time, which was really cool. And then obviously that wasn't like a viable thing, right, for long term. I worked at the Attic, if you remember the Attic.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So I had a stint there as well. So that really kind of leveraged me in a certain direction where I really knew that, okay, I could, really have a creative career and doing the things that I really loved. Because that's all I ever knew. That's all I ever wanted to do. So I did that for a bit. And then I actually got offered a job in Manchester to become the head of design for Bench. If you remember Bench clothing.
Yes.
So back in the day, Bench was actually quite cool. It's not so cool anymore.
Not so cool anymore. Okay.
But then it was like, to go and work there, it was very, very, very cool. I mean, the guys were heading off to Japan to do research and bringing loads of bait and stuff back with them and cutting them up and like figuring out how they'd done stuff. And like the whole scene with like the hip hop and BMXing and stuff where it all really came from was really exciting. So to be part of that was really, really cool. And I really kind of learned about marketing, sponsorship, really understood branding more from a commercial sense, because I think my first like real connection with branding was through skateboarding.
Okay.
Finding a place of belonging in that world. And then actually being able to be kind of part of that some way, in some shape or form through design and fashion later on was really, really cool. And yeah, then I went off on the quick story, went off a little travel, backpacked around the world, and yeah, met somebody on the way, and she was from Germany, and I ended up in Hamburg, of all places.
Okay.
So that's kind of my
pre-Hamburg career. Yeah. Okay. And you also did what was really cool for me. You were part of the team that was working on a Coca-Cola ad for the Olympic Games, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. How did it feel? I mean, it's a big company, but more of a feeling that you do like something for the Olympic Games.
I mean, it still like gives me a bit of goosebumps that I was part of that process. And I mean, it was before Figma. So it was like before any kind of environment where you could, work together. So what was really interesting was it was the first time that I was part of like a global team, and we were using like shared Dropboxes. So
okay.
there was people from Australia, from New York, from Japan, myself as well, and it's all sorts of different spots around the world. So all these different perspectives, some amazing designers, and we were all just kind of collectively sharing things and then discussing them, filtering, finding what worked, and then taking that and iterating on it again, and iterating. And through that process of collaboration, the work started to emerge, out of all like lots of noise, there was like common threads that started to come through. And that was really cool to see. So working within that space and environment for such an occasion as well was an amazing experience.
I can imagine such a international team for such a huge event. It's definitely a highlight. And what about you, Jan? After finishing university, you started your own agency freelancing right away, or?
Yeah, no, it was also like, I mean, I guess like how a lot of these small studios come together, right? After uni, you get together with like two of your university mates and then build a little studio. And yeah, we've done that. There was like different kind of constellations within those little studios. But yeah, I mean, we always had like the shared idea about like design excellence and the same perspectives on, or the same heroes we were looking at and the same design studios we love. And we wanted to, yeah, also make it there, right? Get into this group of famous design studios and designers at some point. But yeah, it was a good time. I mean, this was, it's always like getting some opportunity, like some job, getting super excited, over investing the shit out of it. And and it was just all about the, it wasn't really about the money, because it was, I mean, of course we needed to make money, but it was not as important as it probably is nowadays. We really just wanted to make cool stuff, great design work. And I think that's why it was a really good time as well.
Oh, that's really cool. And Hyperfocus, why the name? I mean, it's a good name, but how did it come to be?
So we kind of just started, and we didn't really, it came pretty quickly. So when you start, you don't have a name. And we saw this video from Virgil Abloh, rest in peace, the great man himself. And he is talking to a young designer who's showing him like a range of clothing that he'd been developing for his studies or something, and he's asking him his advice. And the guy says to him, he says, "Look, I've got this idea. I want to mix manga with military, and I think even with the Olympic Games or something like this." Okay. And Virgil goes, yeah, that's all good. It's all good. And there's some interesting moments, but what you need to do is you need to be hyper focused on one thing and tell that story and do that really, really well. And yeah, that kind of clicked, and we're like, yeah, well, that's what we want to, that's great. That's hyper focus. That's what we want to do.
Okay.
And since that, we've taken that, and, we say that our kind of, our idea with Hyperfocus is to fizzle out the noise and focus on what's important. So that's the stem.
That's the story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also part of our design language, I think. It's, when we design things, they might be playful and expressive, but we always look for clarity, and, that there's one idea that stands out, and, you don't try to put too much layers of ideas and concepts and graphics on top of each other. So yeah, so it's definitely part of our aesthetic as well.
Okay. And how was it to build an agency during pandemic? I mean, I assume not easy, but how was it for you guys?
It's never easy. I mean, it's always a bumpy road. I think there's a lot of people out there who dream about doing it, but until you've done it, there's things that you don't realize that you have to do. I mean, you have to run it like a business. It's a business, and a lot of people get into design from a design background. So there's a lot that you have to learn about being a business person within this world as well, and running it like that. What was the question again? Sorry.
About building the agency during the pandemic. Yeah.
So that's generally how it goes. But actually, surprisingly enough, during the pandemic, it was a lot easier than we expected. And our positioning again was, as a digital branding studio, which also meant during the pandemic, everyone was at home. Everyone was concerned about different things. And especially if you're a brick and mortar shop, or, your business, people are not coming anymore. So it was a really interesting time where people were rethinking the whole space and how they communicate, how they show up. And of course, this kind of digitalization of the world just shot through the roof, and we're still living that world now where, we never called each other on Zoom before. The way that we communicate has changed. There's been so many advances because of what happened. And, we really kind of saw that in the beginning. Actually, people were coming to us. We were also back of our network, so people were really excited that we'd started something that they could, work with us without an agency structure. They could come directly to us. So it was a combination of lots of things, but it was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, it was a fun time, actually.
Okay. Were you guys in Frankfurt? Was it a complete lockdown or
in Hamburg? You mean?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I think it was like everywhere else. I mean, at some point everyone had to stay home.
Okay.
I think we also we founded a place, or I joined place at Paul at the place where he was having a desk. And that was a quite big space. So the people there was just a couple of people in a massive space. So that was cool. And we also...
Massive industrial loft. That was really cool. Right?
We could go there and work. And that was a good thing. Also not to sit at home all the time.
Yeah.
And have a shared space.
Yeah.
Although we make sure that all the safety regulations were in place there too.
So German of you, still covering your ass on that, right? Following the rules.
Follow the rules. And are there any projects that you guys have as a favorites that you did? Like one that you would pick for any reason?
For Hyperfocus?
Yeah.
Our favorite project for Hyperfocus.
And there is one that we can't talk about. Let's say one that's not released yet. We can't talk about that. Hopefully, you'll see that soon. It's been finished for a while.
Okay.
But we can't publish it yet. But that's a great one. That doesn't help, does it?
No.
I think I have one. I would, because we did this. We have a befriended design agency called Day. They're more focused on building digital products. And they asked us to design their brand. I don't know, was it last year or?
Yeah, last year.
Anyway, I think it was a very flawless process. So Ollie, the guys who runs this studio, he really trusted us right from the beginning, and he also had a very clear idea of what he wanted. So that just helped a lot to really build this in a textbook way. And everyone was super happy at the end of the day with the result. And also this brand fits. I mean, that's really the aesthetic I like. It's a very simple, nice typography, just a very elegant graphical element. In this case, is a gradient. I mean, you have seen 1,000 brands that are like this, right? With gradients, with typeface. But you can always, because there's also a nice story about why everything is like it is with the name and the gradients. You can check out the case on our website. And everything fits together. Everything works. Whole process was nice, and everyone is happy with the result. So that's one of my favorite projects for sure.
Yeah, I mean, same as well. It's very elegant and really beautifully put together. But I also I really like Undiscovered, because it was back in the day I really fell in love with the brand MailChimp. I think it's a best practice from back in the day, because it was one of the first brands that I really came in touch with that had a comprehensive guide to tonality and creating this character at the heart of something that was lovable and memorable. And I think, when we're building brands, those are some of the things that we look for. It's something that's really relatable. And at the end of the day, MailChimp is a mail service, but they were able to create, extend their product into other areas, but also to be able to create something that was instantly recognizable by many, many people, even outside of that space. And I think that was really, really cool. And I always wanted to be able to build something like this, that shared a similar kind of DNA. And the Undiscovered project came up, and we were able to take the personality and the characteristics of the owner and put that into a character and really create this wonderful world where this character went on these adventures and was really expressive in its nature. But everything's very monochromatic. It's very simple, well put together, but it's something that really has resonated with people. And the amount of feedback that we've got from the company and other people that have come in touch with it, it's amazing, because they just want a piece of it, and it's become this lovable brand, which I always wanted to be able to create. And I think this is like a really good example of that.
Okay. Well, I've been browsing the website, and I have two that actually stood out to me. As I'm type designer, 86 Tales was like a really, really interesting concept for me, with the combination of numbers and everything. And also Content Pass, which was kind of really minimalistic with nice colors and everything. So those two really stood out to me as a type designer. So yeah, I loved those two. Any special stories about them, or
special stories? I mean, 86 Tales was one of our first projects, right? It's quite some time ago.
Okay.
But it was also one of those projects where
I've got a little story
I mean, also like I remember we built different directions for this, but then we did this one direction and we thought, that's it. It's actually, I think that's the only time
that's happened,
that we just went in with one direction, right? And said, this is it.
Yeah. Because it was just simple. It was like, it has to be this, cannot be anything else.
Yeah.
Normally, you go in with the traditional like 3, like roots, like steak, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this was just like, that's it. This is the one. And everyone agreed on it as soon as we showed it. And we're always very excited to show and to present our work. But in this case, it was kind of imminent, and they just bought it and like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I love that, especially all the typography and everything that really, really stood out to me. So yeah, that's one of the coolest for me.
With Content Pass, just tell you that quickly, that was one thing that I really loved, because we wanted to create like expression without faces, and the product itself is supposed to be quite simple, that you can interact with it with just one or two clicks, and everything's kind of set up. And we really like that, and the expressive nature of a hand. And if you look at everybody's hand, everyone's hand is different, and it tells 1,000 stories, whether they're young or old, or you have multiple rings, or you have tattoos, or the watch you wear, or the nail varnish you wear. It's a real kind of indicator, without ever seeing somebody's face, of what they're into, what they're interested in. And that was like a really cool, like, vehicle and mechanic to explore, to be able to tell the story of Content Pass. And that's why we have this kind of very playful, different types of hands that we work with.
Oh, that's a really interesting story. That's a cool thing. If you guys had to remove any trend from design right now, what would it be? Like, completely erase it, doesn't exist anymore, never did.
I would reverse it a little bit. I would bring back, or let's say I would kill the trend of not looking into books anymore. Because I also see books in your background.
Yeah.
Because it feels a bit like everyone is looking at the same things, right? Also, you have like you have all these different resources, and you can actually, find probably everything you can imagine online. It still feels like, again, everyone is looking at the same things. And I just remember back in the days, because books, they come out of very different times as well. One is maybe 20 years old, one is 5 years old. And you find very different things, and you get inspired by very different things when you go through like a book that is 20 years old, and I sometimes miss that a bit, to see also a bit more just different things, basically, just different versions of things, and not the feeling that everyone is trying to create what's successful at the moment.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of a little bit off the back of that as well. It's about the process, and we can't do it. I don't think. I sometimes think about this as well, because we would love to become a B Corp at one point as a studio, but it would mean that we would not be able to like print things out, right? We're not really supposed to waste anything. or use like natural resources in that way. Or maybe you could, but you'd have to recycle them. I don't know. But there was a time when you would like either print things or collect things, and to actually take things away from the computer and actually have an open discussion about them. There is something different about that chemistry. It's not just the physical act of looking at a printed piece of paper rather than a screen. It's taking yourself out of that scenario of being in front of a computer and, having those conversations. I think that's something that I wish we could kind of try and get back to a little bit. I mean, we're lucky because we're in that role where we can initiate these things. We were just back in the UK last week, actually. We went to see Dixon Baxi because they've just released a book. And
yes, I've seen it.
We shot a video there with them, and during the shoot, they had what's called campfires going, and the campfires are where people come together and initiate and do that thing. So it happens, and I find it really exciting, and it's just funny that it's become a relic that we need to dig back up again. So I'd love to see a bit more of that, just a bit more of us not being sheep and us doing things in a different way to get to maybe different outcomes. But it's also just about having really great relationships and conversations within the process of what you're doing.
You mentioned collecting things at one point. You collect different kind of things. How many sneakers do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I have a lot of sneakers. I would probably say, how many do you reckon?
Are you
100 to 150 pairs, something like this? Maybe
wow.
More.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's from like grails all the way down to like really battered shoes.
Okay.
They're not all pristine. I mean, a lot of them are still like, I wear all my shoes, all my sneakers. But yeah, there's a whole different like variety of where they go and how they live and what they do. They all have their own little personalities.
Okay, that's interesting. So my guess is that's from your skateboard background. That idea comes, or
not really. I mean, I always had the latest sneakers when I was skating. I think it goes more back to school, to be honest. I mean, I remember when I first got my first pair of Jordans or Reebok Pump or something like that. I can still remember the smell of the shop when I went to buy it, the smell of the leather and also the unattainability of it as well.
Yeah.
It was for like a kid, it's so expensive, and it's like, one day I'll have those, and it's kind of, there's definitely a nostalgia vibe about a lot of the stuff, but then there's also like a fit vibe as well. So like sneakers, there's still like a lot of Y2K references to a lot of sneakers that are popular today, rather than like the retro Jordans, which have fallen off a little bit. But you still have that feeling, for me anyway, that I did when I was a kid. I get the same feeling with records. I also collect vinyl as well.
Oh, okay, really?
I DJed for a very long time. So the whole culture around fashion, when it comes to hip hop, basketball, skateboarding, and all of those things, and music, they're all kind of are connected. And yeah, I find that in there, and I think that's why I love branding so much, because it's always given me like a home or a sense of belonging, depending on those things that I reference, in my life.
And what about you, Jan? Do you have anything that you collect, or?
I collect stamps.
Stamps, okay.
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
No, no judging, no judging.
I think, I mean, I love shoes, and I also have a lot of shoes, but I wouldn't consider myself as a collector, because you asked if that comes from skateboarding. because skateboarding is, you need a lot of shoes,
You destroy your shoes,
but
basically.
you need one
yeah.
pair every month, and because they're fucked up so quickly. So I'm not really collecting anything.
No?
I don't know. I saw like a couple of documentaries about, these guys who, this minimalism life, and, just have the things you really need and wear, and get more following that path,
Okay.
There was this women, which always asked, do you enjoy using this or not? And then you get rid of it if you don't. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of a more German style, right? Or is it something that we think about Germany, but it's not true?
What, like the minimalists?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. I've been
No?
I don't want to name any names, but I've been to some Germans' houses, and it's just a horde of things. All the things that you don't need, just in case. I think Germans, just in case kind of people. I mean, we talk about me collecting a lot. Like, I do collect the stuff, but I don't hoard. Like, my home's very, I suppose, very minimal as well. I just not like nice things, and I just have those nice things.
Okay. And you guys have been picked by, well, there was an article of 25 agencies, designers to look out for Creative Boom.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come to you? Was it like something you are used to, or
are you used to it? Every year,
all the time.
I expect. It was a surprise, huh?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I mean, it was 20. Was it 20? Was it most inspiring?
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So it was more about me than the studio, but I represent the studio, so it's about us. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. I got a message from Katie Cohen, who runs Creative Boom. She was like, "Yo, congratulations!" What? And I was like, "Eh." Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, man. Like, I can't, and it's voted for by the community as well. So I never like put my name forward, or I never knew that was happening. And to get something like that, like, yeah, it was, I suppose, quite emotional. Like, you never feel like you've made it or something. I don't think you should. But it was just one of those kind of moments where suddenly I paused and I was like, oh, wow, fuck, I must have done something right along the way, for somebody to even like consider that. I'm very, very honored and very humbled to have my name up with some like Jessica Walsh and people like this. Massive imposter syndrome. I think we all have to have that at some point. Even though I see lots of YouTube videos saying you should not have to deal with imposter syndrome, embrace the imposter syndrome. You do. It's just a natural thing.
Yeah, I believe as well. I mean, in the creative field, you always feel it, no matter how many years you work, no matter what you did, what kind of projects you had. It's always there. Yeah,
I think it's a really good thing as well. I often talk about the creative process of, like, you wear your heart on your sleeve all the time. You're open to be judged, and the way that we work is a very emotional roller coaster with everything that we do. Throughout the creative process, you have highs and you have lows. You feel down, you feel high, you feel down, and that can be quite difficult to deal with. But that is actually the way it goes to get to where you need to get to. And if you're, I think, locked in to creating something amazing and great that really has compassion and meaning, then you have to kind of sign up to experience those emotions, or it won't come out in your work.
What about you, Jan? Still having imposter syndrome, or?
Yeah, sure. All the time. I mean,
you're a YouTube sensation, Jan.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's also, it's like goes up and down, Sometimes you think you are the hero of the world, and then in the next day you think, oh, fuck, man, where am I?
Yeah, what a waste of space.
It's
like down here and then up here, down here, up here. I mean, we spoke at the D&AD this year in London. Man, that is madness. like to think, an institution that you've loved since you were a kid in your industry, and then you're invited to speak there. The high, the imposter syndrome, feeling sick, scared, going out, doing it with one of your best mates, and you're the founder of the business that you started, and then coming off stage, you're going to crash. You can only go so high. You have to be prepared for the crash. And then you build yourself back up again. And that's a lot of how it is in business as well.
And you guys both have families and kids, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you juggle all of that? I mean, traveling for conferences, doing the work, having kids at home.
I mean, I say hi to my wife here. I mean, definitely you need someone to, who supports that as well. I think, couldn't do this without her, in, taking care of the kids. And it's not just my wife, it's my whole family who helps. But of course, I also need, or, we as founders and running a business, we also need to have the balance to be there for our kids, right? I don't think we are like these kind of people who are like constantly away and, don't see their kids grow up. So I try to spend as much time as possible with my kids as well. And I love that. We
also set boundaries in the studio as well, like through notoriously the creative industry, or especially in advertising. I suppose maybe the branding isn't as bad. Although I do hear things sometimes, but that working, you work all hours and like, you never have any time to yourself, work-life balance, blah, blah. And like we've done all of this, and I also think it's a matter of leadership and also structure and organization. And I think there's enough time in the day if you focus to get stuff done. And we always have a cutoff point at 6:00 where you can hang around if you want, but we are very much like finish.
Okay.
Go, finish. Go, finish. And we've had like, since we started, like maybe a handful of times where we've worked late, which is probably like 8:00 or something, or 9:00. And sometimes we do some extra hours just to catch up on stuff in our own time. But for the team, it's really important that, we create a really good space for them to, not get burnt out and put their best foot forward and have a space where they feel safe to be able to, create really great work.
Okay.
So in that sense, it means that we get a chance to find, you get a chance to spend time with your family and with the people that you love, and you do other things outside of just coming to work.
Yeah. And how many people are there in the agency right now?
We are like 6 people at the moment.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, that's amazing. And what do? You mentioned, Paul, like things outside of work. What do you love to do? Like, how do you relax? How do you recharge?
How do I relax and recharge?
Do you relax?
That's a difficult thing for Paul.
I have. I don't really. I mean, I do lots of sport. So I just started skating again, not to any extent that I used to. I also go climbing. I love to cook. I go to the gym and spend time with my family as well. Trying to teach my daughter the ways of the world. That's enough to do. So there's not that much time for relaxing when you got like a young kid.
How old is she?
She's 3.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not much time for anything, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
So I squeeze stuff in when I can for me anyway.
And what do you cook best?
What do I cook best? I would say Indian food.
Indian food, okay.
Yeah, that's been my lifelong journey with food. I traveled India and for quite some time and learned a lot there, and with the roots of coming from England as well. Like there's a lot of Indian cooking. It's just there's so much to explore, and that's something that I really love to develop even further.
Yeah. Is he any good at cooking, Jan?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, really good. Okay.
Yeah,
just checking, different perspectives. And
Thank you.
No, we do like cooking once a week with the team.
oh, that's nice.
And yeah, and I guess, but I think everyone like did a good job so far.
Everyone's
Right?
really good at cook. All the people who come and cook with us, everyone's really good, which I'm really surprised at. And Jermaine, his dad's from Ghana, his mum's from Korea. So he has like a really interesting mix of food that he's grown up with, and he brings that to the studio. And Sebastian as well. He was also making ramen from scratch and stuff. So
Oh, that's wow.
It's a little competition going on there.
Yeah, that's quite a competition. So yeah. Okay. And you, Jan, what do you do if you have any free time?
So running is my thing.
Okay.
So I did quite some kilometers this year. So yeah, I go out I can run for 3 hours. I don't need headphones. It's just me and my mind. So that helps quite a lot. I like that. But also, just spending time with my family. It's also, I don't think about work when I'm at home, to be honest. I can really, switch it off and think about other things, which I think is.
That's really good.
Yeah,
that's really good. Yeah. And what do you guys, I mean, I cannot not to ask, but AI in design, what's the opinion there?
So for me, I mean, it also depends on what kind of AI, we're talking about.
Yeah,
so
I
don't know. I love ChatGPT, to be honest. It helps like in my workflow, like so much. I don't know, putting proposals together, for example, or applying for like some tenders, this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So that used to take like a week, is now done within a day. So that's quite a dramatic change. But also like, I mean, the nano banana things, that I just also tried like quite some stuff the last couple of days. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. I mean, it also like more on a conversational, kind of side that you just tell the AI what you want, the prompts don't have to be so perfect and the results are really good, to be honest. So, I mean, it already, in my point of view, it already has replaced stock photography. So I think that they're going to be in trouble soon because you don't need to spend looking for images like days and hours anymore. You just create them yourself. But yeah, at the end of the day, it will be like there is, people mentioned that before. There's this iceberg where there's like a top part, that looks out of the water, that needs like a lot of attention, craft and care, like storytelling, everything needs to be done really good. It needs to be very authentic. And then there's all the other stuff below the iceberg that then can be done by the AI, or the AI will support to create this kind of stuff. And that's definitely going to happen.
I think it completely unlocks creativity that you can like explore and go places that you never would have been able to do before without like a production team. But I still, believe we should use this to take us somewhere, but when we should still be trusting in the artisan and still working with the creative talents to make the actual things happen. There is a craving. There's a space for AI content, but there's always going to be an opposite. There's always going to be a backlash with anything that happens. Tape, CD, vinyl. That's a very old school reference, but with anything, like with anti-culture, with pop culture comes anti-culture, comes punk, was against the system, and you see this with anything that happens. Even more recently, you see people wearing headphones with cables. Statement to the past, which I think is also pretty cool. And when we're at DNAD this year, like a lot of the work that we saw was handcrafted. It was actually getting back in touch with what matters, which is making and creating things. So I think they can run very well parallel next to each other, and some will be for this and some will be for that. And there'll be also a mixture in between. I think it's just a very interesting space and place to be a creative at the moment.
And I also think it will make crafted things much more valuable, to be honest.
Yeah. 100%.
It's like if you have like a hand painted, picture, it's much more valuable than a print, for example. So
yeah, that's so true. Yeah, that's a really good perspective. I love that. And I will not keep you for too long, guys. But I have one last question for both of you. If you could give one advice to young designers, those who just started from university, maybe going into agencies or into freelance work, one advice for them, what would it be?
What I would advise someone who just finished school, uni, I think it's, stay curious, to be honest, because there's so much change at the moment in the industry. But there is a place for creativity and art and design. So I strongly believe that, because I guess people are a bit afraid, like, okay, how is, in the industry looking in 2 years, is there still a place for me? So always be curious and be open to new things like AI, but also understand the foundations, like the craft of things, also when it comes to design. And if you bring those two things together, I believe there is a good future for you in this industry.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say, like, creativity knows no borders or no boundaries. And I know it's sometimes difficult to think further than your own bubble and your own space, but the potential of what you can do and unlock has huge scope, like everywhere. Whatever you do, whatever you can create, could change somebody's lives. I think design is really, I know it's a very, very important thing when it comes to, influencing political decisions, influencing, choices of where you go next with your next big decision in life, or just micro decisions of what you're going to have for dinner, right? These are all things that play a role, and you can be part of that conversation. And even though AI is, also probably up in people's faces at that age at the moment, really scared about, well, what is this? There's still, once the storm starts to kind of calm, which I think it already kind of has a little bit, you have to remember it's not necessarily about the tools, it's about your momentum and your perspective on getting to where you want to get to and going on that journey, and it will change. But having that behind you, I think is something that is really important, to have that kind of purpose and to find that, or to know that it will come at some point, but to rely on that in the early days, I think is really important. And the other thing is to try and find a mentor, or try and find somebody, and it's more easier than ever today than it was when we were younger, to go onto YouTube or find a really great podcast, or follow somebody who, speaks the language that you kind of feel relates the most to you. So when you're feeling lonely and you don't really have a direction, reach out to these people by consuming, listening, or even just a lot of the time people want to, they will respond to you. We've got to meet some of our biggest like peers and inspiration just by making that extra effort, so boundaries the walls can be knocked down. They're not as great as they used to be. And I think that's really important for any young person coming through today, is that the potential, the possibility, and the opportunities are there. You just have to go out there and seek them.
I love that. That's a good one, and a perfect way to end the episode. I mean, Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. It was really a pleasure to talk to you. So many different perspectives and different views and things. And that's what this is about. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And thank you for being a very considered and calm host as well.
Thank
It's
you.
always really important for us when we're doing these things is that, you're able to give like a safe space. And when you do that, hopefully you get some nice nuggets coming out of it. So it's testament to you. So thank you. Thank you very much for being a great host.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's also for us because you do it usually the other way around. So we ask people. So I had to. I also want to ask you some questions.
Well, we can leave that for the next one. No worries.
Probably, yeah. We do it the other way around.
Sure.
Normally, when a question's answered, I go quiet and wait for the other person to speak. Whereas I got to speak. It was quite interesting.
Well, I'm open to it. So whenever you guys want, it's a cool thing.
Let's do it. Let's flip the script and do it the other way around.
Yeah. Why not? Okay. Well, thank you once again, and we'll stay in touch. I will let you guys know when this airs, and have a lovely day.
Awesome.
Cool.
You too, man.
Cheers.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Real stories with bold creatives.